Hello and welcome. Welcome to a short stretch practice. You will need some bricks. If you don't have bricks, you can use hardback books. You'll also need a belt. If you don't have a yoga belt, you can use an old tie or something of that nature. Stretching is for everybody. It's for young, it's for old, it's for athletes. It enhances our mood. It keeps us supple and fit. It allows us to release all the stiffness that we may have in the body. We stretch with no pain, and we stretch nice and slow to begin with, and then we just build a little tiny bit of strength in muscles of the shoulders with our down dog stretch. So we start laying down on the mat. You will need the belt by the side of you, and you can have a cushion for your head if you're not happy laying on your back without a cushion under your head. So we're just going to lay down and bring your feet flat to the mat, knees together, and just place your hands on your tummy and just be aware of your breath, because we work with the breath, we move on the breath. So inhaling and exhaling. So notice as you inhale, your belly softly rises, and as you exhale, it falls. So the breath moves the body. So going to bring both knees into your chest and just have a little roll around on that lower back. Just see how we're feeling today. If you're early morning stretching, please do take it a little bit easier. If you're evening stretching, maybe you can go a little bit deeper. So bring your feet flat to the mat, and we take the right knee into the chest again, and we now give it a good squeeze. So a really good squeeze of that right knee. And leaving the left foot flat on the mat, take your right hand to the right knee and take the right knee out to the right. Now you can intensify this a little bit by taking that left leg long as well, if you want to. Back to the center, out to the right. You can leave that foot flat onto the mat if you want to, or intensify it. Back to the center and out to the right. And then come back to the center. And then draw the knee into the chest again, place a foot flat onto the mat, and reassemble. Draw the left knee in, give it a nice squeeze. And then left hand on left knee, we'll take the left knee out to the left. And again, the right leg can go long if it feels appropriate to you today. Back to the center. Exhale out to the left, just a nice external hip rotation to open our practice. Back to the center, and exhale out to the left. And then come back to the center, and then draw both knees into the chest. Place your hands down on sides of your body, and we're going to go into the hamstring. So all we're going to do is take the legs straight up to the ceiling, and then turn the toes towards the nose and the heels towards the ceiling. Now, if you have tight hamstrings, you're certainly going to know about it straight away, because you're going to need to bend your knees. So just be aware of the hamstrings. Place your hands on the back of the thighs and give them a nice little stroke, and work the hamstrings passively. Now bring the knees into the chest. Lengthen up as much as you can, toes to nose, heels to ceiling. Knees into chest, lengthen, toes to nose, heels to ceiling. Think stretching, knees to chest. One more, lengthen up, toes to nose and heels to ceiling. Then bring the knees into the chest. Place your left foot flat onto the mat. Find your belt. And then take the belt around the ball of the right foot. Now, we're going to take this straight leg to the ceiling, toes to the nose and heels to the ceiling. You want this top leg to be quite straight, so you may have to take it away from the body in order for us to really access the hamstrings. If we bend the knee too much, we're not accessing the hamstrings. So the further away to have the leg straight, depending on where your flexibility is with your hamstrings. And you're still going to keep a micro bend in the back of that knee. Okay, let's start passively stretching. We're going to hold on to the belt with both hands, and if we want, we'll take the left leg long. So now we're working in both legs. Now toes towards the body, and we push the heels away. You want to have a little tiny micro bend in that stretched knee. You don't want to hyperextend, and we're just going to passively stay here. You can now draw your attention to your abdomen and slightly draw the navel back to the spine. Nice, easy breathing. Remember, wherever your leg is where it should be. We need to be passive with hamstring stretching. They don't like to be rushed. Okay, here we go. Take an inhale, and on the exhale, with your right hand on the belt, take your leg out to the right, all the way out to the right. We're into the inner thighs. Now you may notice your left buttock wants to lift, so perhaps put your left hand on your left hip. Keep that left buttock down. And again, if you push the heel away, you're going to find a lot more intensity. Don't matter how far you go out to the side, depends on your body, your anatomy. You want to go a little bit deeper. For those who know they're stretching, just draw the toes in the direction of your right ear. And I'm sure you're starting to feel the inner thighs and the hamstrings starting to passively work. And then a subtle bend of the knee, we come back to the center. Going to take hold of the belt with the left hand now. Keep that left leg active by pushing the heel away, and we're going to take this top leg right across the body, and we do want the right buttock to lift. So we're going to roll over, all the way over, and you're going to draw your right shoulder down. So just drawing this right shoulder down. We're right into the glutes now, so right into the buttocks, and your buttocks are your hip flexors as well. So nice, easy breathing. And then slowly we come all the way back to the center. Bring a slight bend in the knee to bring the leg back to the center. And again, we go into that passive hamstring stretch. Both legs active, toes pointing towards the body. Nice, easy breathing. And then bring that right knee into the chest and remove the belt. And place that foot flat onto the mat, and then stretch it long. And you may notice already that your right leg is just a little bit longer than the left. So let's do the left side, feet flat onto the mat, belt around the ball of the left foot, the leg straight up to the ceiling, and the right leg is long, and we push the right heel away, and we turn the toes of both feet towards the direction of the body, and we either have it further away and closer in, micro bend of the knee, but we have the straight legs. So it's very passive in the hamstrings. They do not like to be rushed. They really don't like to be rushed. So let's just take it easy. Take an inhale and an exhale. Remember, the right leg is also active, so keep pushing that heel away and have the toes facing towards the body a little bit. And then taking the belt with your left hand, we'll go out to the left, all the way out to the left. And we'll keep this right leg active. And if we want to, we'll just push that heel away. Ooh, I'm feeling it a little bit more now. And again, don't worry how far down you are, or you may be all the way down, who knows? It doesn't matter, just observe without pain, stretching. Right buttock comes down towards the earth. And if we want a little bit more intensity, by drawing the left toes towards the left ear. And then a subtle bend of the knee, we come back to the center, all the way up. Both hands on the belt, both legs straight. Breathe. And then we'll remove the belt. And then stretch the legs long, and I'm hoping that they probably have been pulled out. Okay, staying on our back for a little while longer. Remember, you can have a cushion underneath your head, and you may need that cushion underneath your head for the next little sequence. Feet flat onto the mat. Right leg rises to the ceiling. Right ankle crosses over left knee. You want to have this foot quite flexed, so you want to have those toes pointing up to protect this knee joint. Option 1, you're simply staying here. Just draw attention to your breath. navel towards the spine very gently. Option 2, you've created a triangle through the triangle around the back of the thigh, and we draw in. And now we're into the IT band, and we're into the glutes as well, and somewhat into the hamstrings. So you'll feel it all on the right side. Nice, easy breathing. Keep that foot flexed. Now, if you want to, and you want a little bit more intensity, hands in front of the knee, and we just take a little bit more intensity, depending whether it's evening or morning. Morning, I like you to do a little bit gentler. Takes time for the body to wake up. And this is a great posture for sciatica, anybody who suffers with sciatica. This is a really nice posture. We're going to place that left foot flat onto the mat and the right foot flat. And left leg goes up and ankle over the knee. Options to stay here we know. Through the triangle around the back of the thigh, lifting up that right leg is your second option. And your third option is hands in front of the knee, and we draw in and we flex this foot. Always remember, when we're working with the hips, we want to keep the knees nice and safe. So always keep attention on what's happening in the knee as well. Couple more breaths. And then we release that right foot and the left foot, both knees into the chest. Little roll around on the spine. Feet flat, and we're simply going to roll over to come into all fours. Coming into all fours, our hands are underneath your shoulders and your knees are underneath your hips. Now you'll notice that I've popped my toes onto the wall, so they're actually on the floor. So they're right next to the wall. And I'm going to use the wall to help me to get into downward facing dog, because we want to move everything back in downward facing dog. But first we'll work with the spine. So we'll inhale the gaze up and the buttocks up. And on the exhale, we'll round the back and just gently work into the spine. It might feel quite stiff over the morning, so this is a really nice movement. Just working gently into the spine. It's a little flow, and just really being aware of the articulation of your spine. And if you are going to use the wall, do be careful that you've got no pictures on the wall or anything that you may come crashing down on you. And then we're going to come to neutral. So I'm just going to lay my body down and I'm going to come into child posture. So nice long stretch. So we have a really good stretch of the armpits and relax. Cushions or blocks can be put under the forehead. Now, without moving your hands, just imagine the hands are super glued to the mat. We're going to come up onto the knees. And then we're going to tuck both sets of toes and lift the hips up and push the heels back against the wall. And as we push back the heels against the wall, you find the wonder of downward facing dog, but everything moves backwards. You don't take all the weight into the wrists and the shoulders. We move back. So tailbone up to the ceiling, and you push the heels into the wall. If you know you're downward facing dog, you can certainly pop your heels back onto the mat. But you're just really being aware of everything moving backwards. Navel to spine, couple more breaths. So your downward facing dog is a beautiful stretch right along the back of the body, hamstrings and the spine. It's also strengthening into the shoulders. One more breath. And then bring knees down to the mat. And back to child posture. So just wriggle those fingers and wrists, see how they're feeling. Toes creep up to the wall again. So just creeping up to the wall with the toes. Options, staying here, hands underneath the forehead, have a little break. Or one more downward facing dog. So super long arms onto the knees. Tuck the toes, lift up, push back, push back, push back. Tail to the ceiling, navel to spine, strong arms. If you have tight hamstrings, you may have to bend those knees. And then we're just going to have one more breath here. And then bring the knees down. Return to child posture. Hands long or hands underneath the forehead, your choice. And then slowly we're going to come up into a seated position. So that's the lower part of the body nice and stretched and open. We're just going to do the upper part of the body now. So we're going to have 2 bricks or books, whichever. I've crossed my legs. You may not want to cross your legs. Depends how you're feeling. So you can work your hamstrings and have nice long legs. Or you can have your hips marinating with crossed legs, your choice. Because we're just going to go into the shoulders. Interlock your fingers, turn the palms away. And inhale the arms all the way up. And then exhale down. Inhale, rising up. And exhale down. Don't worry if your arms don't go too high. They may only go here. That's fine. Don't worry. As long as you have no pain, we're stretching. One more. Inhale, lift. And exhale, release. Fingertips to your shoulders. We're going into the rotated calves, elbows together, and we just have nice little circles. And that feels really good, especially if you're stressed. And then we bring the elbows together and we just repeat that movement. Just a really good movement into the shoulders. These shoulder exercises are all therapy exercises. Okay, we're going to go back into the shoulders with straight arms up. Take an inhale, exhale, take a dip with both arms. Inhale, lift. Remember, draw softly that navel to the spine as well. Exhale, keep the spine strong. Keep the spine long. One more. And then bring the elbows together. Ooh, it feels nice. Now, if they don't touch, don't worry. Just aim to bring them together. I'm going to open up the chest. Take an inhale and an exhale. Inhale, open, expand the chest. Really work the pecs, open up. Draw the shoulder blades together. Exhale, close. Inhale, open, expand. Exhale, close. And one more. Inhale, open and expand. And then bring the hands down onto the knees. Now, check out where your shoulders are. Are they up here or are they down there? We want them down. So whenever you're feeling stressed, just check out where your shoulders are. Let's keep them down. Keep the neck long. We're going to go into the neck. Take an inhale. And on the exhale, we're going to gaze over the left shoulder. Draw the chin in the direction of that shoulder. Back to the center. Take an inhale. And an exhale. And opposite direction. Just really working into the neck. We come back to the center. Take an inhale. And an exhale. We're going to lift the head up. We're not going to throw it back. We're just going to lift up and perhaps have an instant facelift by bringing that bottom lip over the top. And then back to the center. Take an inhale and exhale. Take a bow. Stretching is also anti-aging. There's so many benefits to stretching. And then we come back to our seated position. Maybe you want to change the cross of your legs. Stretching also lifts your mood, so I'm hoping your mood is really lifted now that you've been stretching. Your bricks or your books are by the side of you. I'm going to take the right arm all the way up to the ceiling, stretch it up, and then exhale, over we go. Inhale, lift, and exhale, over. And if you want to, you can slide the block a little bit further away and exhale over a little bit more. Just really intensifying the stretch if you want to. And And then inhale all the way back up. Bring your fingertips behind you and lift up your chest, straighten the spine, reassemble the body. And then back to the bricks. Right hand on the brick. Inhale, lift. Exhale, over. Inhale, lift. Exhale, over. And again, if you want to, we can go a little bit deeper by sliding the brick, just seeing what feels good to you. And then inhale up. Bring the fingertips behind and lengthen. So if you have straight legs, you're going to remain with the straight legs. If you haven't, they're going to be straight now. You're going to have toes to the ceiling, shoulders back, fingertips behind you, and lift up your heart for a back bend. And then release. And again, lift up your heart for a back bend. And to the center. Now we're all going to do is lay down for our final little stretches. Feet flat onto the mat. Knees together. And draw the heels in towards the buttocks. We are going to lift those buttocks up. We're going to take the pubic bone pointing to the ceiling. And at the same time, let's recruit the glutes. So let's squeeze the buttocks as we lift up. You don't need to lift up too high. And then exhale, release down. So it's a nice back bend. Pubic bone to the ceiling. Glutes squeezing, squeezing. You can, if you want to, intensify by shuffling your shoulders towards each other and go a little bit higher with the belly. And then release. See how that's feeling, and one more, a little bit more intensity if you want to. So again, we lift, squeeze the buttocks. Let's really recruit those glutes. Shuffle the shoulder blades together, go higher, 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 and then think about, without moving your heels at all, just isometrically draw the heels in the direction of the shoulders. Ooh. And then release down. Both knees into the chest, little rock and a roll. Feet flat onto the mat. Just going to work into the front thighs a little bit. So if you have a yoga mat, you're going to walk one foot to the edge of the right and the edge of the right, one foot to the edge of the left, and the edge of the left. Your knees are wide apart, your arms are nice and wide. Take an inhale and exhale, draw the knees towards the right. So drawing the knees towards the earth as much as it feels appropriate to you. Get a nice stretch in this hip flexor at the front. And then back to the center, and over we go, the opposite direction. So it's also a spinal rotation. Back to the center, over we go. Back to the center, and over we go. And let's do one more. Over, draw the knees down. Back to the center, and draw the knees down. And then we'll come back. We're going to take both knees into the chest. Have that little roll around. And then feet flat. You can leave your feet flat if you want to, or you stretch your legs nice and long. And if you're going to go into your Shavasana, your legs should be quite wide, and your arms should be quite wide away from you. We just relax. You do need to relax after your stretching. A couple of minutes is good, but 10 minutes is perfect. So I'm going to ask you to stay as long as you want. And keep stretching. The body loves to stretch. So keep stretching. But now we relax. We relax the whole of the body. We've worked the neck, the shoulders, the arms, the spine, the rib cage, the hips, the thighs, the calves, and even the feet and the toes. So the body now is allowed just to relax. Feel yourself quite heavy. Relax, joy. And keep your eye open for more short sequences for your mind and for your body. Namaste.